Hello, everyone. I am your host, Dr. Shirley. Thank you for joining us here at Harmon Talk. We want to thank our listeners for all your positive comments. We have really enjoyed your feedback. If you get an opportunity, please like or follow us on whatever platform you are listening to us. And if you would like to reach us directly, you can email us at Dr. Shirley. That is DrShirley, Dr. Shirley at harmontalk.com. We would love to hear from you. And today, my other half, Jerome Harmon, is not here with us today. But I have a special guest here with me, Dr. Monica Rhymes.
Hi.
And she is looking as lovely as ever. Dr. Monica has a journey that everyone needs to hear. Her story is inspiring, encouraging, and motivating. And a lot of people will benefit from hearing some of the things that you have to share today. Monica is, and I should say, Dr. Rhymes. Dr. Rhymes has a doctorate in nursing, and she is a nurse practitioner. She is a mother. She's a grandmother. She is an entrepreneur, and she is a world traveler. And full disclosure, she is also my niece. So I can tell you that she comes from some good stock. so, so she has some good genes, not to toot my own horn. But Monica is a very inspiring person. And that means that I know you from birth, when you were born.
Yes.
I remember when you were born. I remember those beautiful gray eyes that are still just as beautiful as ever. And you were a good baby. I don't recall a lot of crying. You were a really good baby. And then as you started to grow up, that personality started to come out. A little talkative.
Yeah.
But you never met a stranger. Wherever you stopped, you left a friend behind. And you're even that way today. Your friendships have become like part of the family because that's how you embrace people. And so you have been a very positive influence on a lot of people. So with that being said, I want to give the listeners an opportunity to get to know a little bit more about Dr. Monica Rhymes. So let's start with, remember when you found out you were going to become a mother? What was that like?
Well, that was the scariest time of my life. I actually found out I was 15 years old when I learned that I was pregnant. I delivered my son a month after my 16th birthday. So a lot of people on their 16th birthday, they're planning parties, they're going out with friends. I was planning to have a baby. So it was really different. At that time, I was, like I said, terrified. I was lonely, so to speak, because a lot of my friends who I grew up with, their parents deemed me to be a bad person because I was the pregnant one. But the reality of that was that I was the one that got caught. So I won't name any names, but a lot of my friends, they did distance themselves from me, for that reason, as teenagers. But I am just thankful that I had the village that I did have around me. My mother, my grandmother, and even you, Dr. Shirley Harmon. None of what I accomplished would have been possible without my village around me. So some people say you made a mistake. I don't feel like my son was ever a mistake. I feel like it was part of the plan. Um, and it just wasn't the timing that is traditional. But there were some perks, to early motherhood. I mean, my son, we grew up together. We had a lot of firsts together.
And and it was amazing to watch you navigate that.
Yes, we did.
You actually, there were some bumps in the road, but to watch you navigate that, and especially when it was time when you graduated and it was time for you to go to the next level with your education and your career. It was amazing because you are definitely not afraid of hard work. You are one of those people that will have 2 and 3, 4,
5.
5,
I even had 5. I had 5 jobs
5
at one
jobs
time.
at
Yes,
one
I did.
time.
I did.
Yes.
So,
So how was that going to school and also being a young single mother?
oh, it was like a hamster wheel, but I knew what I had to do. I saw what the goal was and what needed to be done. I'm very hyper independent as a result of that because I know if something has to get done and I want it done correctly, I have to do it.
Right.
So I'll do whatever it takes, not only to not tell my son no, I do whatever it takes to not tell myself no because I'm important as well. And
That's
so
important. That is also important. A lot of times people forget that.
they will, yeah. So you'll give so much to everyone and to every cause, but you constantly put yourself on the back burner. And so I feel like when you do that, you are silently showing and telling other people how to treat you. Because if you don't deem yourself important, then why would the other person? So you just really have to have this fine balance and always make sure that you make time for yourself as well as your goals and your dreams. So it's a balancing act, but
Well, and you have managed it quite well because not only are you a mother, you're also a grandmother now.
I am
Two
too
beautiful grandbabies.
Yes, yes, I love them dearly. I
Yes.
I didn't think I could love anybody as much as I love my son until I met those 2 kids. And I still love my son, but it's different.
I
It's so
understand.
different.
I
So
understand totally. It's right. Being a grandparent, that's a different kind of love
it is.
because I don't have to do all that disciplining.
Yeah.
I get to love on them and then I get to send them back home with their parents.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
yes.
definitely get it.
Yes, the best part.
And sometimes my sons are always saying that you're not the same parents that raised me. So
Yeah.
yeah, these are not the same people. So do you have any stories, any grandbaby stories as well?
Oh yeah, I could talk about them all day, but one in particular is when I had the grandkids and my son said, "Where are you going?" I said, "We're going by Chick-fil-A." He was like, "Oh, so now you didn't have McDonald's money when I was growing up, but now you have Chick-fil-A money." So it's just different,
It is different.
it's very different.
It's very different.
I talked to him. I was just telling him to calm down, and he's like, "Calm down? I don't think you ever told me to calm down."
Right.
So
My grandbaby was jumping up and down on the couch. And there I was just watching her bounce up and down, smiling, going, wee, wee. And her daddy walks in and said, "She's jumping on the couch." We were never allowed to even sit down hard on the couch. But it's like, it's the grandbaby.
it's different
So
now. It's different. It's definitely
It's a
different.
definitely different. It's a different thing. And so the thing is that, hey, I get to send her home
Yes.
at the end of the day. But
Yes.
that being a grandmother is one of the most rewarding things that you can
It
do.
very much is. And even, my nephew, my sister's son, I consider him like a second child, grandchild somewhere. He holds a very special place in my heart as well. And so she's always saying, "Oh, you let him get away with this and he gets to do that." I'm like, "But that's TT's baby."
That's right.
So I just love the kids now. I have the patience. I guess I have the time now.
That's true.
So it's
The
just
patience.
different. It's not a hustle bustle. I'm not forced to keep a schedule.
Right.
So that things operate smoothly. So I have that flexibility. And I think that makes a big difference.
It does.
Because like you said, at the end of the day, you get to send them
Right.
back home. You're just enjoying the moment with them and making the memories.
And I think that's a testament to being a good parent.
Yes.
That means that we've raised our children well. So therefore, they're raising our grandchildren well.
Correct.
And so we don't have to be parents.
Correct.
We get to be those grandparents.
And I'll tell you, one benefit, I wouldn't encourage anything, but, when I was 34, my son was 18. So a lot of my friends were just beginning to have children. So I get invites to 1- and 2-year-old birthday parties. I'm like, No, not doing that. So it's definitely puts me at a different, level with some people, some of my people that I grew up with that are just starting families or have young families.
Right.
And I'm just at a different place. And so I think in a sense sometimes that's why I find myself hanging out with older
Right.
people because we have more in common. We're empty nesters.
Right.
We see our grandchildren and they go home. So it's the differences in those things.
And it's a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to watch you navigate that, from being a teen mom and to who you are now. And you did a great job. I mean, he's a
You.
wonderful young man. You did an amazing job. And I want people to know that you did that. It wasn't like, I mean, of course, you had your village, but it wasn't like somebody else raised your child. When you moved, your child moved with you. So you raised your child. And you did a really good job. And so want people to know that your journey may not start out ideal. It may have a few bumps in the road, and you may not know where it's going to end up at. But take stock in knowing that it's possible. It is possible to achieve your dreams. You have to be willing to work hard. You have to be willing to study long hours. You'll have to be willing to make it through the bumpy roads, but there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
You can achieve as much as you dream. You just have to be willing to work hard for it.
You got to put in the work.
You got to put in the work. And you are a prime example.
There are no shortcuts.
It's true. There are no shortcuts. You have to be willing to put in the work and understand that your journey is different. And you have the capacity to be exceptional. Everyone does. You just have to work hard at it.
I thank you for all those kind words that you said to me. And I thank you for being an important member of my village.
My privilege.
So, yeah. So I just know without, the support that I had, I would not be able to be where I am. So I am truly grateful to you, my mom, all of everybody that helped me along the way.
Well, you are welcome. It was my privilege.
Okay.
But now, as a mother, and you went to school days, nights, weekends, but you did it.
I did.
You did
I
it,
did.
and you became the nurse practitioner.
Yes, and I was always in school. Originally, I was a medical assistant. So I was in school in Atlanta and I became a medical assistant. Moved back to Vidalia, couldn't find a job. So I enrolled at a technical school. I wanted to draw blood, be a phlebotomist. So I completed that. Well, I knew that I still wanted to go to school to be a nurse, but the schedules at the hospital was you work 2 weeks days, 2 weeks nights. So that wasn't conducive to furthering my education. So I ultimately took a job working at the prison as a correctional officer.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I did that for 1 year and 3 days.
Right.
So, and I remember because I was counting down because it was supposed to be a year and 5 days. But during that time, I would work at night, go to school during the day, and I just continued until, I had to make a decision. Was I going to stay in school or was I going to work full time? And I credit my grandfather on my dad's side because I really almost lost focus of what my goal was because I wanted a new car. It was a Chevy Trailblazer. I'll never forget. And I wanted it so bad, but I needed, I was young. I needed somebody to help me sign for it. And he told me no, because if he got me that car, then I would be more worried about paying for the car than I would about my education. And he didn't want me to lose focus.
Wow, that's profound.
So at the time, I was furious because why wouldn't he help me? Why wouldn't he do that for me?
Right.
But now looking back, I'm thankful
Right.
that he did that for me.
Right.
So
Keep that focus.
yes, he did. He helped me to stay focused there and continue to go to school for my dream. I wanted to be a nurse. And so there were roadblocks there. So I got into school. Initially, I couldn't get accepted into the nursing program. So I ended up with a degree in community health, a bachelor's of science in community health. I actually got an internship at the Centers for Disease Control. I was even offered a job with the diabetes division there. And the pay was good, but I wasn't happy because that was not my goal.
Right.
So I went back and I reapplied to nursing schools, and I met a good mentor, and she encouraged me to just apply at different places. And so as a result, I did that, and I went and I got an associate's initially in nursing, and then went and got my bachelor's. And then as I was finishing up my bachelor's, I accidentally enrolled in nurse practitioner school. So
You mean accidentally with that scholarship?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I did. So, and I mean, it's just been a great journey there. I've learned so much. I've made so many friends. I've mentored so many people. And just really, when I see them doing good, it makes me feel proud. It makes me happy to know that I played, even just a trivial role to help change someone's life, to shape them. So,
You have mentored a lot of
yes,
people
I have.
that have come through your different offices, and and you still are in touch with those people today.
Yes, yes.
So if you would, tell us about a little bit about what you currently have going on, because I know you got more than one thing going on.
Yeah,
So
gotta
you
keep
you always
irons
have
in the
a few
fire.
different
Yes,
things.
yes,
So
more than one iron in the fire all the time.
yes.
So, currently I am in practice with my baby sister,
Who is also my niece.
yes, Dr. Jada Rhymes. Her and I, we run whole patient healthcare in Columbus, Georgia. So the focus there is on primary health and wellness, but we are branching into different aspects there. I've recently become certified in Juvederm and Botox cosmetics. So aesthetics is also being added to the services that we provide there. We're also opening an in-house lab, providing just some cash payment options because a lot of people insurance, healthcare is just unaffordable. So just making sure we're able to reach those patients that need us the most. And we're looking forward to expanding. So more to come from whole patient healthcare, a lot more to come.
I like that. It's a matter of growing your business, but still at the same time reaching back to help other people as well. So it's not just about looking out for yourself. And that's the best kind of success,
It
when you
is.
are able to help others and to also to bring other people along.
It is. It is. I can truly say it's very rewarding. Very rewarding. Every time I have an interaction with a patient, they're always grateful. They always tell me that they feel seen, they feel heard. They felt like I listened to them, like I addressed their needs. I didn't look at them as just what condition that they came to get treated for. I
Right.
treated them like a person, and that's how I feel like everybody should be treated when you go to seek health care, regardless, of what you can afford to pay,
What you look like.
what you look like as well. And you need to take all those factors into consideration when you're treating a patient, just because, there are medications that may treat your condition. If you can't afford that medication, I've done you a disservice if
Right.
that's the only thing that I've offered you.
Right.
So just to explore all of those options and make sure that we're meeting the patient's needs where they are, and also letting them know, and well, not just letting them know, but collaborating with the patient to develop those goals that are realistic for them. Because my ideal expectation may not be theirs, but we can meet in the middle and make sure the patient as a whole has a better life and a better outcome.
As it should be.
It should.
I really wish that more doctors would take that outlook, and the healthcare industry would be a lot better.
It would. I can tell you. I worked in retail health for many years as a director, and I can say that private practice, you definitely have more time to spend with your patients and to form those relationships with the patient. So,
That is very important, that you feel comfortable, talking to your caregiver. And of course, with your personality, they're going to feel comfortable with you because you're a people person. Like I was saying earlier,
yes.
you make friends everywhere you go. So I'm sure now every patient you meet, you got another friend.
I do.
You
I
do.
do. I do. They come back looking for me all the time. And I have some friends that actually started as my patients.
Yes,
The
okay.
relationship just kind of formed and the bonds that were there. And so, yeah, I mean, not on purpose. It's just, I think sometimes God's will. I think sometimes
Right,
He puts, you at the place where you're needed and
right.
there where they're needed. So
Yes.
it works out.
Yes, and you work really hard. I know you, and you've been working more than one job since you first started to work. One job for some reason never seemed to be enough for you.
And it still isn't.
It's
It still is not. I will
and
admit
you
that. I am still doing other things behind the scenes.
right.
Just because I am a firm believer in multiple streams of income, multiple, purposes.
And that's important.
It
That's
is.
important. People need to hear that it is important to have multiple streams of
It
income
is. It
because
is.
you never know when one stream may dry up, but then another one will flourish and just keep flowing. So
Correct.
that is important. So people do need to hear that. But now you
Yes.
work hard,
Yes.
but now you also got to have a fun side. So
Oh,
do you
yes.
play just as hard?
I play twice as hard,
Okay.
if not more. So yeah, I love to travel. Absolutely love to travel. I go last year. I went to Brazil. Have an upcoming trip to Spain this year, Africa next year. So I absolutely do. And sometimes, it's not about just going abroad in different countries. I will take a weekend vacation, just go to the beach, just put my feet in the sand.
Remember when you went to Las Vegas? No, what was it? Los Angeles to go to the Lakers game? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I love LA. Yeah, it's nice out there. Yeah. But just doing different things.
I definitely wanted you to mention that because it's important to have a balance because I know how hard you work, but I know that you have to enjoy the fruits of your labor and everything that you have put into it.
Will, because if you don't balance it out and do some things that you enjoy, you will burn out.
Right.
And I witnessed that firsthand.
Right.
There came a point where I didn't think I wanted to be in healthcare anymore because I was just overworking myself. So you really have to just make sure that you're balancing, work, family, and your personal obligations to yourself. Don't leave yourself out of that
Right.
or include yourself in that time. Your time is your time alone. And it's important that you set those boundaries and you do some things that you truly enjoy outside of those things.
That is very important. The journey that you have taken is not conventional.
No.
It's a little different. However, it may be similar to somebody else's. But the thing that I want our listeners to understand is that everybody's journey is different. And just because you start in one place, that does not determine where you're going to end.
No.
So
Absolutely.
being a single teen mother, and here you are now, you sit as Dr. Monica Rhymes, and you are flourishing. And so we want people to know that you are the architect of your journey. You determine what the end result of your journey will be.
Yes.
And you don't be afraid to work hard.
Yep.
Try something new because you have to be willing to put in the time and the effort to get out of it what you want, not what somebody else thinks that you want or that you deserve. You have to be willing to put in the work.
Be willing to ask questions. And I'll go a step further to say be willing to ask the right people the questions.
Right.
Because too many times you can be misguided by someone else's expectations.
Right.
So I think that mentorship community is very important, especially for someone that's trying to change and they have a goal in order to be where they want to be.
Right.
That's very important.
Right. I totally agree. Looking back on your journey, and it has been an amazing journey, and I have been honored to watch you navigate. Is there anything that you think you would have done differently if you had the opportunity?
Yes. There are some things I look at that I wouldn't necessarily change. I may delay the timing of how some things happen.
Right.
Being a teen parent is not ideal, but I was able to make the best of the situation. I think the biggest thing that I would change looking back was I would have learned boundaries early in my life. I would have learned that no is a complete sentence early in my life. I think some of those were barriers that were created by myself just from simply sometimes not saying no.
Right. I think,
So
yeah. Sometimes we try to, you want to please too many people
you can.
and you want to try to make other people happy where at the same time you're suffering.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but yet they're going on happy and doing what they want to do, and yet you're still suffering because I said yes,
Yes.
but it was because for your benefit, so that you wouldn't be angry at me, you wouldn't be mad at me or upset.
Yes, and I don't know if you recall, you and I had a conversation a while back about, when I was working in corporate, retail.
Right.
And I finally, started setting those boundaries and I was saying no. And I was on a call and I was talking and I was presenting and suddenly I got quiet because there was something very unfamiliar. And I realized what I heard was my own voice. I wasn't trying to please anyone else. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was Monica and I was enough. And that was the first time that that had ever happened to me. And it sent chills through my body because it was no longer me feeling as though I needed to make sure I was liked and that I was enough. I knew that I was the valuable one at that table. And I shouldn't have to do all that because I knew what I brought. I recognized my value and I heard my own voice.
So I guess then that came with a lot of self-reflection.
It did. A lot of self-reflection, a lot of burnout.
Okay.
From just not saying no because I wanted to be recognized because I can do this, she can do that, she can do this. And so I had to learn not to be the problem solver for everybody and everything. I can point you to those resources and we can talk about it.
Right.
But if I keep solving the problem, you never try to figure it out. Your solution is always ask Monica.
Right.
And I love to help. And so it became a slippery slope between am I helping or am I being used? So, I just had to learn, I'll help you, but you have to be putting in as much effort to solve your problem as you expect from me.
That's a good way to put it. Am I helping or am I just being used? Because there are a lot of people out there that will just use you up.
Yes.
And continue to just use you. As
Yes.
long as you give, they're going to take.
Yes.
And it's okay to be a giver. But like you were saying, you have to know those boundaries.
Limits.
Because people will just take and not give anything back. So I'm
Yes.
definitely glad that that is something that you would look at doing if you had an opportunity to do it again in the future. One thing that I know about you as well is definitely that you are a giver, but that you have this way of just bringing things together also.
Yes.
And so you are that person, I guess either fortunately or unfortunately, that is that go-to person because you can rally the troops. You can get people together when a lot of people can't. And it's because of the way that you speak to people, that you talk to people. You are relatable. And so people will come to you for advice. They will come to you when they need different things. And so that's definitely, I guess, when you have to watch it because they get to come into you a little too much.
Yes.
So-
Yes. Yes. But for the most part, discernment was the biggest thing that I had to learn. Everybody is not meant to be around forever. Sometimes there's seasons and reasons
Yes.
that
Okay.
people are in your life. And when you try to hold on longer than you should, it creates friction and it's a problem.
I'm guilty of that.
So
When you say that, sometimes you hold on to some things just too long because for one thing, you're afraid to let it go.
yes,
And
history is a part of you.
it's a part of you, not realizing that maybe that's the part that you don't need.
Yes.
But yet you hold on to it because, like you say, it's history and I'm familiar with it. But once you let that go, it's a breath of fresh air.
A huge weight lifted
Yes.
off of.
It's like I didn't need, I was carrying more weight than what I needed to carry. And I think there are a lot of people like that.
Yes.
That carry more and take on more than what you need to. We're carrying a lot of baggage.
Yes,
That
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I had a talk with a patient. We were talking about her exercising, losing weight, and she said she didn't have time. She had to pick up her grandkids. She had to go help her husband do something. She had, all these things that she was doing for everybody. So I said, well, we went through her schedule. I said, well, what if you get up at, 5:30 in the mornings and you don't have to be to work till 7 and you could, work out for an hour and she was like, absolutely not. I can't get up at 5:30. I said, well, you see how fast you told yourself no,
right,
but you don't tell anybody else no.
right.
Something's wrong there.
Prioritize everybody else.
Yes, everyone else was more important
Right.
than herself.
And a lot of us are guilty of that.
But when I pointed out how fast she told herself no versus she would find a way to do everything that everybody else wanted her to do.
Right.
So just being mindful of that with yourself, I think, is very important.
Because we all have to realize that on our journey, it is important that there's balance.
Yes.
Because that is the key to your happiness. And it's not just about finances.
No.
It's not. I mean, of course, you want to be financially stable. I mean, we all do. Nobody wants to be drowning in bills. You want to be financially stable. But there has to be a balance of peace, a balance of calmness.
Yes.
So that you can actually enjoy life. And as you were saying, stop telling yourself no so quickly. It's important to sometimes to tell yourself yes. You have to be willing to sometimes make time for you.
Yes, and your dreams and your goals.
Yes, as you have done. Coming from that young girl back in Georgia, being here with you today has truly been an honor and a privilege. I tell you what, I'm getting a little full just sitting here with you today, and all of the things that we discussed. It brought up a lot of memories, fun memories. And just how proud I am of you because you have accomplished so much and you are definitely a motivator for so many people. I don't think you even know how much good your story will be for so many people. They need to hear it. They need to know that just because they started out in a place that they didn't think they would be, that you can still reach the goal that you aspire to be. So thank you for being here with me
Thank you for
today.
having me.
I appreciate it. And you got to come back.
Definitely.
And plus you're going to be a guest. We're going to have one of our live events that's going to be coming up June the 14th.
Yes.
And it's going to be the second annual Live Your Dreams, Not Your Fears luncheon. And so we will have more information about that coming in the very near future. Thank you, listeners, for joining us here today. And again, thank you, Dr. Rhymes, for being here with us today. We want to encourage all of our listeners, please, if you have an opportunity, like us and follow us on whatever platform that you are using. We upload new episodes every second and fourth Sunday. And if you want to reach out to us directly, please email us at Dr. Shirley. That's DrShirley, Dr. Shirley at harmontalk.com. We would love to hear from you. And thank you very much. See you soon.